Hi everyone, my name is Paul Thompson. I'm the Employment and Skills Manager for an organisation called the South East Midlands Local Enterprise Partnership, and welcome to this presentation about the labour market within the South East Midlands. Just to explain a little bit about our organisation, we are responsible for helping and assisting with the economic development in the area. Basically what that means is that we are trying to create as many jobs as we possibly can in the area, and then help people like yourselves towards those jobs by making sure that you A, know about them, but B, also have the right skill sets for those kind of jobs and occupations. I'm going to talk about two kind of different kind of groups during this presentation. We're going to talk about sectors, and by sectors we mean types of businesses. So lots of kind of groupings of businesses here. So for example, if you take financial, that might include kind of all the banks, accountants, that kind of thing. If we take manufacturing, we've got lots of different types of manufacturers in the area, but we group them together within sectors, and I'll make reference to those. Probably of more importance are occupational groups, and I'll explain why in a moment. These are groups of jobs. And so again, if we look at the legal side, we might have solicitors, barristers within that. Engineering, lots of different types of engineers, mechanical, electrical, production engineers, they fit all within one group. And it's important because when you actually start to look for a career, it's probably better to focus on the occupational groups. I'll explain why. Just to show you how it works. So if we take the manufacturing sector, within the manufacturing sector, typically within a business, you might find 5 types of occupational groups. So those that are specific to manufacturing, maybe engineering, maybe the financial control, the digital side with the systems, etc., and then the business operations side. And that's typical of a business. Now, the important part about these occupational groups is a lot of them are transferable. So if we take manufacturing, and then we'd have a look at perhaps the transport sector and the health sector. If we actually look at the engineering side, there are engineering jobs in all of those. And you might kind of think, well, health, really? But yeah, there are maintenance positions within the health sector. And there's definitely an engineering need there, and it's transferable. Similar with the business administration and the finance and the digital as well. So these kind of roles are what we call transferable. And yeah, certainly as a way for looking towards your careers, they could be of much more interest because they might give you a bit of variety during your career as well. So let's talk about the labour market locally. So we talk about the South East Midlands, so that's kind of Northamptonshire, Bedfordshire, Luton and Milton Keynes. One of the most successful areas in the country, so you're in the right place at the right time. If we actually look at employment at the moment, logistics and supply chain is one of the biggest sectors that we actually have. It's closely followed by business admin and support, then retail, so that's with shops, health and care, manufacturing, education, construction, hospitality. So quite a diverse group there. If you actually look, you'll see digital there is just 2%, which might come as a surprise to some people. And yeah, again, I'll explain the difference here between the sectors and the occupational groups. So just remember the digital, and I'll come back to it in a little bit. So employment itself, the actual numbers, was going fantastically well up until 2020. Then you know what hit, and we had the dip. It's now starting to bounce back, and it's starting to come back quite quickly now, which is great. Good news is we have very high employability rates within the area. That means the number of people who could work are working. And in fact, in Milton Keynes, it's probably one of the highest in the country. Most of them are above national averages. So yeah, we're doing well at the moment. We're doing really, really well. Now, probably of more importance to you are the job postings. So these are the job vacancies. And again, you'll see the graphs there. You'll see the dip at 2020. But it is bounced back, and it has bounced back quite quickly. So there are lots and lots of jobs out there. In fact, it's the highest it's been since 2018. Across a broad range of these occupational groups, so business administration is the biggest. Then we have sales, marketing, procurement, and engineering, manufacturing, transport, logistics, health and science, and then digital. So if you remember on the employment with sectors, digital was 2%. Here it's our sixth biggest occupational groups. There are lots and lots of jobs in digital, in fact, thousands of jobs. And this is from the last 12 months, 20,000 jobs advertised in digital. So, there's a lot of opportunities there. I think there's something there for everybody. So no matter which skill sets you have, what desire you have, there is something there. Now, does that mean you're going to walk into a job? No, it doesn't. Simply because our employers are very demanding and they're looking for employability skills. So we do surveys of our businesses. We talk to a lot of businesses. Certainly skills is number one on their agenda when they struggle to get people, when they're looking for people. And technical and practical skills and what they call job specific skills are high on the list. Certainly literacy and communication skills are well up there. So we talk to a lot of businesses. We've split it down into 5 groups, how we define employability skills. So basic skills, so this is your literacy, your numeracy, your spoken English, can you turn the computer on, basically. Attitudes and behaviours, so this is kind of being detail orientated, so taking a bit of pride, a bit of passion in what you do, having a work ethic, so knowing that you are working and you're there to work. The bottom row there are very much kind of things that everybody expects to be treated to themselves. So being reliable, polite, a bit of humility. The flexibility, adaptability, self-motivation, initiative, they're fairly kind of new within this list. And that's really come from the changes since COVID of home working and things like that. You're going to have to be trusted. And people expect you to kind of be a bit more flexible, roll your sleeves up, especially with smaller businesses. Maybe do kind of lots of different things that you're asked to do. By far the most important group is core transferable skills. Communication, organisational skills, teamwork and collaboration are always the top 3. It doesn't matter which sector, which occupational group you look at. Digital literacy is going to shut up the list, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But there are other things in there like problem solving, the creativity side, resilience. I think very much the message here is that having a go and not succeeding is not failure. Not getting back up again and having another go, that is failure. So you have to be resilient. Things aren't going to go right all the time. Trust me, they don't, that's for sure. Then we get into the technical and vocational skills. So these are very much linked to the occupational groups and the jobs. And then we have the qualifications and the certification. Now, the size of those boxes is directly proportional to the importance that employers place upon them. That's not to say that your qualifications and certification are not important. They are, certainly for your first job, very much so. So get your heads down, get as many as you can, get the relevant ones that you need. They really, really are that important. But certainly those core transferable skills in particular and attitudes and behaviours are vital. So people call them soft skills, they're not soft, they're essential. I mentioned the digital skills, I mentioned digital literacy. For us, that's basically Microsoft Office. There's very few jobs you'll go into these days where you don't use it. You can see the increase in demand on jobs where specify the need for these skills since 2020 to 2022. They've leapt up, especially Microsoft Teams, as you can well imagine, with remote working. If you're more interested in the digital side, these are the kind of the main languages and coding and systems that are being asked for. That list does change quite regularly. What people do tell us though is if you can program, that's fine, they'll take you, they'll teach you what language they need you to work in. So I'm going to go through the occupational groups very quickly, just to show you some of the trends and things that are happening. So business administration, you can see the huge demand, lots of administrative roles in this, helping supporting businesses. And one of the interesting kind of groups within this one is human resources. So personnel, looking after people, that kind of thing. Very specialised role, very transferable, and again, huge demand at the moment. So if you're an organised person, if you like working with people, that kind of thing, that this could be for you. Project management's also big in there as well. So again, the organisational skills, the communication skills, very big in this area. Sales, marketing and procurement. So the sales dominated by retail, but there is business to business sales there as well. Marketing, big demand for digital marketing, especially in smaller kind of medium businesses. And they are looking for young people like you, simply because a lot of it revolves around social media, and you guys get that. Old people like me probably don't. So it's important that they bring in young blood to actually kind of help and support that. Procurement, so it's buying stuff. There is a shortage of buyers out there at the moment. Who doesn't like buying things? Yet it's a very specialised role, but very, very transferable again. Engineering and manufacturing is just booming in the area. We've got a lot of production that's coming back from abroad, coming back into the UK to be made. We have huge strengths in food production in this area. We've got a lot of aerospace and high performance technology engineering as well. Certainly around Formula One, but also space and aerospace. So lots and lots of opportunity there. Big demand as well for young women coming into this sector as well. So there's big pushes and some incentives as well to actually make that happen. Transport and logistics. So you'll have all seen the big warehouses dotted around the area. We're in the perfect location in the country, right bang in the middle. And that's why we've had the boom in this area. So the big sheds, as we call them, are springing up left, right and centre, and will continue to do so. Yes, there's demand there for warehousing staff and drivers, and you can actually become an HGV driver now at 18. But about 45% of the jobs are nothing to do with that. They're all to do with digital business operations, the marketing side, engineering, all that kind of thing. So there's lots and lots of opportunities in these places, and they really do look after their people and they help them progress as well. So certainly worth a look at when you start to look at a career. Health, big demand. There was prior to COVID already. We were starting to see an uplift in this. Huge demand for nurses of all types. So whether that be kind of psychiatric, mental health, midwives, general kind of practitioners, that kind of thing. Big demand. But also lots of the other specialised roles. So pharmacy in particular, psychology is moving up the list very, very quickly. Physiotherapy, occupational therapists as well. So lots of opportunity there. Digital, I've kind of already touched on, particularly programming is huge, but digital analysts, so looking at systems and system support and that kind of thing. About 60% of the jobs in digital are not in digital businesses, they're outside. And again, it's a very, very transferable role. One of the big things within here is also cyber security. Legal, finance and accounting. Certainly accountants and bookkeeping has been in our top 25 jobs, well, certainly since I've been doing this job for 7 years, and it's increasing. Big demand for accountancy and bookkeeping, as I say, and financial management within businesses. Again, lots of opportunities, very diverse, very transferable. Education. We have an unusually high youth population within the area. We've got lots of new schools opening as well. So there is a big need for teachers and teaching assistants in particular. Also kind of down at the preschool years within childcare, there is demand. Great career, very much a kind of a vocation. Very rewarding as well, I will say to you. Yeah, again, this could be for you. Construction and built environment. Our population in the area is increasing. It is a booming area. There is still a lot of construction on the go. There's some big projects like HS2, the East-West Rail link, some of the rail freight terminals and things like that, but lots of housing as well. We also have the green economy, so there's things like the solar panel fittings, insulation, that kind of thing. All of that has an impact on this sector, and there is big demand, especially for the trades. So electricians in particular, but also plumbers and carpenters, big need. Civil engineers, architects as well. There's jobs here at all kinds of levels. Catering and hospitality, again, bounced back from COVID. And unfortunately, with us leaving the EU, what that has done is left a bit of a hole in terms of some of the workforce that used to work in this area. So that's presented lots of opportunities. So front of house, back of house. So front of house being out in the restaurant, that kind of thing, or the pub or whatever it is. The back of house, very much in the kitchen. Chefs in particular, there's a huge demand for. And don't get this idea that these big shouty environments where everybody kind of shouts at one another. They're not. Most kitchens you'll go into are very, very calm. It's hard work, no question about that. But again, very rewarding, and opportunities to start your own business and do other things there as well. Certainly on the front of house stuff, there might be some part-time jobs as well. Certainly when you're starting to kind of go forwards, you might want to look at part-time jobs. Working in a restaurant is one of the best ones you can do because you pick up and gain evidence of communication skills, organisation, that kind of thing. Can be very, very invaluable. Care services, we have an ageing population as well. Hello, I'm one of them. And we need to be looked after, or will be need to look after. So there is a big demand here on the care sector. Lots and lots of different levels of occupations, etc. A real rewarding career, actually trying to help and support others. Can't be any better, really. But again, lots and lots of opportunity. And also service as well. Strange on this one, we have an ageing workforce in this particular area, and obviously with conversion now to electric vehicles and the hybrids and possibly hydrogen as well going forwards, it does need new technicians, new skill sets, etc. So very keen to actually get young people kind of entering into this sector. And yeah, we've had a bit of success. Rockingham Speedway, for example, has now been taken over by British Car Auction, so we buy any car, that kind of thing. Big demand up there at the moment. If we look to the future, we think that these 7 occupational groups will be the ones where there'll be the greatest demand, and they kind of revolve all around these different kind of areas. So I've already mentioned that, space and aerospace, space in particular, we're already saying satellite production in the area. Manufacturing, 3D manufacturing, printing, kind of that kind of thing. Lots and lots of kind of high performance technology that's driving that. We're a centre for intelligent mobility, so driverless vehicles, that kind of thing. Lots of things going on in Milton Keynes at the moment around that. The green economy net zero will certainly drive things forwards, and that's coupled with non-carbon fuel transport as well. Health and care, very interesting things happening there with kind of trying to make sure that people stay within their homes as long as they possibly can. So remote monitoring, the Internet of Things, actually kind of reviewing what people do within their own homes, that kind of thing, supporting people remotely. Lots of robotics starting to be experimented with in that area. Modern methods construction, so making kind of houses off-site and assembling them on-site. So a new factory is going to be built in Corby, for example. It will be the biggest factory in Europe, kind of building half a house, if you like, actually in the factory, taking the 2 halves to a site, bolting them together, putting a roof on, and they're already fitted out with kitchens and everything else inside them already. So there'll be a lot more of that kind of technology going on. Agri-tech, we already have fields and greenhouses in the area where no human being goes in them. And so, that's going to happen a lot more, use of drones and that kind of thing. And similarly within logistics, there's just been £1 million contract awarded in Milton Keynes for delivery of medicines within Milton Keynes using drones. They already use the Starship kind of little buggy things as well. We're starting to see a lot more of those. All of this is driven through artificial intelligence, computer programming, that kind of thing. And this is why digital is so important across all these areas. Plenty of pathways to take. I'm not going to go into depth in this particular talk about those, but just to stress that there's no better or worse pathway, no right or wrong way. Find the career you're looking for, look at the pathways. There will be options, that's for sure. But university isn't always the way. It's still relevant to an awful lot of jobs, that's for sure. But you think of things like apprenticeships and traineeships, that kind of thing as well, and the new T levels. Our further education, certainly a couple of our colleges are some of the best in the country. Not our figures, there are other people's figures, and we have things like the new facilities, and we've invested about £50 million in the colleges over the last few years. The South Central Institute of Technology is a new type of kind of college, very digital based, lots of big partners like Google and Microsoft. but aimed at level 4, level 5 type qualifications. Very exciting. We have our land-based colleges, so it's Moulton, Shuttleworth, part of the college, Bedford College Group. So very much about kind of agriculture and animals and that kind of thing. Lots and lots of variety there, but we have some fantastic colleges in this area. And higher education is very relevant to the marketplace. So the University of Northampton, the University of Bedfordshire offer some very practical, sensible courses. Plus, you know, if you stay local, the biggest cost of going to university is the living costs. And if you can reduce those, that's to your benefit. We have a new university at Milton Keynes with MKU, just offering degree level apprenticeships at the moment, but that will expand kind of going forwards. We have a specialised University of Buckingham Medical School at the hospital in Milton Keynes. And we have the Open University, which is another pathway you can take, remote learning. And as you kind of progress, we have Cranfield University, which is more postgraduate education, so kind of beyond university level. There's lots of other pathways with independent training providers, especially on apprenticeships and kind of other pathway routes. The one thing I would say to you is, you know, if you have a talent for doing something and you want to do it, do it. Just find something that you love doing and get somebody to pay you for doing it. It's not work, then it makes it a lot easier. Just be patient, first steps, etc. You know, just plan that first step and just see where it takes you. Make sure you get these slides, and they are available on our website, but there are lots and lots of links to actually kind of help and support you. So there's some general information on those links, and then the occupational groups that I've kind of described where we have need, there are some specific links there that will actually give you a lot more information. And as I say, all the links to those things are actually on our website as well, which we keep updated. So thanks for your time. Best of luck, guys. Keep your heads down. Take care. Bye-bye.